Let's talk about what it would take to defeat a god. Not with some crazy super weapon or a massive army, but with something way, way more boring and, as it turns out, way more powerful. Today, we're getting into the wild story of Hapthatra, a being with almost limitless power, and the absolutely shocking, almost comical way he was taken down.
Okay, so to really get how huge this fall from grace was, you have to understand just how powerful this guy was at his peak. And honestly, Hapthatra says it best himself. This isn't him bragging, it's just a fact. He, by himself, ended a galactic empire that had been around for ages. The guy was basically a walking, talking force of nature.
And this image, wow, it just perfectly captures the height of his power. He wasn't just some super soldier. The lore describes him as a legion in one celestial being. His armor wasn't made of metal, it was literally made of captured starlight. This is someone who could look at reality and just bend it to his will.
Which brings us to the big, central question of this whole story. How does a being who can literally edit reality out of existence get beaten by a signature on a document? The answer is, well, it's as ridiculous as it is kind of terrifying.
So to find that answer, we've got to fast forward a few thousand years. See, Hapthatra isn't a warrior anymore. He's retired, and he's looking for a very specific kind of peace in his own little corner of the universe.
Forget this. 14,000 years, he's been chilling in his personal sanctuary, his domain, a perfect sphere of non-light orbiting a dying star. His goal is this really philosophical thing he calls the Great Unraveling. It's not about destroying things, it's about reaching a state of absolute, total stillness after a whole lifetime of cosmic warfare.
And then, of course, his peace gets totally shattered. A fleet shows up, full of what he calls, pretty hilariously, the elites of the 1% variety. But they're not here to conquer him. Oh no, they're more like cosmic real estate developers. They show up with legal documents instead of cannons and basically tell him they're repossessing his sanctuary for market optimization. They're here to evict him.
Yeah, big mistake. Huge. Because their arrogance basically wakes up the sleeping giant. And to really understand how badly these guys have messed up, we need to take a quick look at his origin story. This is where all that legendary power comes from.
So it all started when he was just a trainee, lost in deep space after his suit failed. It was out there, in the total quiet, that he fell in love with silence. He was eventually rescued by this super advanced group called the Galactic Confederation. They didn't just heal him, they rebuilt him, turning his mind into a weapon that could literally architect reality. All of that led to his greatest moment, killing the Emperor. A victory that, in a really tragic twist, cost him his own twin children.
And the training they gave him? It wasn't your standard boot camp. They taught him kinetic mastery in zero-G combat, making his movements as unstoppable as a force of physics. In what they called the Psychic Forge, he learned to see the universe not as a solid thing, but as a blueprint he could rewrite. And maybe most importantly, they drilled into him this idea of pure self-reliance, convincing him that his own judgment was the only law that ever mattered.
So flash forward back to the present. That corporate fleet is threatening his quiet time, and all that legendary power is about to get uncorked. But this isn't going to be a fight. It's going to be a reckoning.
But see, he doesn't even fight them. Not really. He treats their entire fleet like a typo in the universe that needs correcting. With what the story calls a single stroke of cosmic editing, one of their main ships just crumples, like the very idea of it got deleted. Another one is sliced in half so perfectly that its actual existence, not just its metal hull, is severed.
And the whole thing, the entire war, is over in 7 seconds. That's it. You can't even tie your shoes that fast. An entire fleet of advanced warships is just gone, turned into a perfectly neat cloud of cosmic dust. His power is absolute. Or so you'd think. And this, right here, is where our epic sci-fi story takes a hard right turn and becomes, well, a dark comedy about bureaucracy. Because the biggest threat to Hapthatra wasn't the fleet he just erased. It's the paperwork that's coming next.
You see, the real ultimate power in this universe isn't some super laser or psychic ability. It's the universal commercial code. The UCC isn't just for interstellar trade deals. It's a system of law so fundamental, so deeply woven into reality, that it can literally be used to foreclose on a god's powers.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly, right? On one side, you've got Hapthatra with his swords of starlight and reality-bending mojo. On the other, you've got his new opponent, a guy named Chief Golden Eagle,
whose weapons are financing statements, binding arbitration clauses, and a really, really good understanding of commercial law. It's cosmic force versus cosmic bureaucracy.
So Hop the Trier won the physical war in 7 seconds flat, but he's about to lose the legal war in the time it takes to sign his name. This is the tragic and kind of hilarious core of his entire downfall.
Chief Golden Eagle comes back and hands him a document. Hapathromera, the dude who can unmake reality, is completely clueless when it comes to cosmic commerce. He just sees a bunch of legal jargon and thinks it's some annoying form he has to fill out to make his retirement official. So he signs it, and in that one tiny moment, he gives it all away.
And the second he signs, it's over. The consequences are immediate and just brutal. That signature placed a lien on his entire being. His fancy titles, like Radiant Sovereign, gone. His now just Hapthatra, the registered debtor. His powers, they flicker out. His starlight armor literally crumbles into dust, and his beloved home, his sanctuary of silence, violently throws him out because he's no longer the owner.
He gets thrown across the universe, stripped of everything that made him a god, and lands right back where he started. Earth. Powerless, broke, and trapped by a legal contract he doesn't even understand. He went from that radiant god killer we saw at the beginning to this, a broken warrior just waiting on a court date that might never even come. And it just leaves you thinking, right? Hap-Hathra's story really makes you question what power even means. Is it the big, flashy, raw force that can topple an empire in a blaze of glory? Or is it the quiet, boring, intricate knowledge of the rules, of the system, of the fine print that's powerful enough to foreclose on a god?